I think more so than any other division at the moment. With the heavyweight division, you've got the guy at the top, Tyson Fury, and then you've got this massive gulf, and then you've got everyone else. The Usyk fight, of course, would have been really interesting, and I did think Usyk had a genuine shot against Fury. But of course, he's taken up arms in the Ukraine. Hopefully he's not going to be killed. Even if he comes back, it might not be for a while. This heavyweight division, which has tried to resolve itself, we may have missed that boat completely. So in terms of genuine threats to the Gypsy King, I don't think we really have any. I think it's fair to say in the 1970s and 1990s, the heavyweight top 5 meant a little bit more. There were a collection of guys, each of whom were seen as legitimate threats to the throne. I guess in today's top 5, you have to have Dillian Whyte in there. But here's a guy with more than one obvious flaw. He is going to be a substantial underdog. And if Tyson Fury shows up in the right shape, that proverbial puncher's chance is going to be a pretty slim one. It is, as Tyson Fury has already noted, the counter left hook that he has to be wary of. This is the one point where this fight isn't going to be the same as the Wilder encounters. This is the one little consideration. When Wilder was pushed back, he didn't know what to do. He can't box on the back foot. He has a weak foundation. For all of Dillian Whyte's floppiness, poor footwork, poor stamina, he can walk you on to a hook. It's probably produced the 2 most memorable times of his career, where he shook AJ in their fight, and then when he dropped Joseph Parker in what probably remains his most significant victory. Fury cannot be just out and out reckless trying to mug him. That shot carries a lot of weight. It definitely could deck the Gypsy King. Nonetheless, Fury sounds pretty adamant that he is going to remain in this attacking mode that he basically debuted in that second fight against Wilder. He is going to be on the attack. He is sitting down more on his punches. He is a naturally bigger and heavier man anyway. And of course, he's great at mugging you and spoiling. This is a fight in which he could drastically tire Dillian Whyte early purely by leaning on him. I don't think he'd even have to land the cleanest shots. If he just comes in, few little uppercuts, few little rabbit punches, and leans on Dillian Whyte, I really don't know how he's going to respond to that, because he's not particularly good up close. He likes breaks himself. I think he could get easily bullied here outside of landing that one big shot. So that means, as usual, Fury has some options here. He has some different routes to victory. I suspect he will treat this fight with a little bit more respect than he did in that third fight against Wilder. At that point, he already knew everything about Wilder. He went in with more emotion. He just wanted to get the job done, and he didn't care if he did it in a bit of a ragged fashion. Of course, he's never fought Dillian Whyte professionally, so he has to factor in the possibility of Team Whyte having some little tricks up their sleeve, bit of a different game plan, some few little different shots here and there. So he's not going to approach this one like a complete idiot. He will wait for his moments. He will use his superior coordination and speed to find a way in and start doing damage. Now, at 33 years of age, Tyson Fury may very well be on the turn. I suspect we saw the best ever defensive Fury against Vlad back in 2015, and the best ever offensive version against Wilder in the rematch. Biologically speaking, in terms of the mileage, in terms of just being able to get up for big fights, he said it himself, he already conquered his Everest in Vlad. I don't think we're going to see him shine quite as brightly as he has done in previous fights. So long as Fury shows up fit enough and with enough fear, I don't see him having many problems in this one. Dillian Whyte isn't particularly good going forward. He doesn't have a particularly good jab, even though he's got pretty long arms. And a lot of this stems from his very poor footwork. He can't move forward and double jab, which would be essential here against Fury. Which is what the likes of an Evander Holyfield would do if he was facing the Gypsy King. Quick footwork in, double jab, then figure it out from there. Try and get him to compete at mid-range where his long arms don't work as well. Dillian Whyte doesn't have any of that. Dillian Whyte shuts down when you get close to him. Fury is more adept up close, and that is a hell of a combination to be facing. This guy is much better on the outside, more elusive, and he's better up close. So where are you going to go from here? The odd big wallop might get through if Fury is just feeling a little bit more boisterous, trying to force the stoppage perhaps earlier to give the crowd something, but I don't think he hits the deck on this one. I think he's a little bit sharper than he was in Wilder 3, and I think he's going to get Dillian Whyte out of there about round 7, round 8.